As of February 6th, there are 191 active COVID-19 cases in St. Kitts and Nevis. This signals a continued decline in COVID-19 cases. Additionally, the Chief Medical Officer has said that the fourth wave of COVID-19 has been contained. So in light of this fact, should the authorities now begin loosening COVID restrictions, or are they too cautious in the management of the pandemic? That was a question we put to former Chief Medical Officer Dr. Patrick Martin.
We have to be careful. Measures must be useful, necessary, and proportionate. We are an open country. Our livelihood is dependent on trade with the outside world. The number one trade platform being tourism. We have a hospital system that is straining under a chronic shortage of trained nurses. We have an adequate supply of generalist doctors. We have a certain number of we have a certain amount of hospital space which can be expanded with a tented facility. But healthcare is about people serving people. And if you don't, and not if we don't, one of the major limiting factors is the number of persons, i.e. nurses, that we have available to serve people if, heaven forbid, they require critical care. I think that is the biggest limiting factor.
Entertainer and broadcaster Maurice E.K. Flanders believes the entertainment sector has suffered for a long time due to COVID restrictions, and as such should be allowed to reopen forthwith with the COVID measures removed.
You got to find a balance. They've used this term lives over livelihood. But how could you possibly have any kind of form of life if you're not allowed to have a livelihood to sustain your life? Because you need basic things: clean water, fresh air, access to electricity, and access to good and clean food and water. But you can't have these things if you don't have a livelihood. Now, suppose this thing goes on now for the next 3 months. Then what? So you don't want to overrun the healthcare system, but you want to empty out the treasury, empty out all your finances just to say you gave a stimulus, just to say, oh, I give some people some money. Well, that ain't prudent. My thing is, if you have all these finances, you have access to all these resources, buttress up your healthcare system so that if 2,000 people at any given time end up at the hospital, and it's not all 2,000 people going to need ventilators. No way know how that's going to happen.
But to this, Dr. Martin said there must be a balanced approach.
You sit down, you do your modeling studies, you have the experts come and present, you grill them, and you make a decision based on your analysis of risk, benefit, measures that are phased. But certain things have to be standard: wearing of masks, distancing, hygiene, universal distribution of high-performing rapid test kits.
The recent figures from the Health Promotion Unit shows single-digit records of positive COVID-19 cases in St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.